That my father had this big orchard.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like,
All right, there you go.
Ready?
We are good. We are up.
Rick in?
Yes, it says he is connected with audio.
Pardon?
He's connected, but muted.
Muted?
Mhm.
Excellent. Oh, I see him up top. Hey, Rick.
Hey guys, how are you?
How was Hawaii?
Oh my gosh, it was great. Yeah, the water was 75 and we swam every day.
Good for you. Okay. We'll start the zoning board of appeals meeting on March 13th. We'll open the public hearing. We have ZBA 24-3. This is a continuation of the December 12th meeting. A variance request for section 4 and section 8 to permit the construction of a two-bay vehicle service garage addition within the required zone and lot setbacks and in excess of the maximum allowable building and pavement coverage on an existing non-conforming lot of record. Zone design commercial, map block and page 046, 02022 owner, CLB Willington LLC. This once again continued from December 12th, 24. Okay, want to introduce yourself and why don't you guys move up here a bit and feel free to introduce yourself. And I think
You want to go outside? Come on. Go do you.
You have your map, Rick?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Yeah, go ahead.
Todd Clark Land Surveying, actually lives in neighborhood Chris Park. I'm from Bristol, he's from Bristol. And, Chris owns the shop. I'm sure you all know it used to be Art's Garage. And a couple of years ago, we were encouraged to change the zone to make it more compliant. To the design commercial, we were able to get that zone changed. And Chris has an opportunity to keep this business viable by servicing 18-wheelers. Obviously, as you know, a lot in the area. It's an awful lot of interest in it. We have trouble servicing it. We can tell you more about that. But in any case, to do that, the best way for him to do it would be to add bays to the northeast side of the building. And in doing so, given the proper length that he needs, we're going to get over the 25-foot setback line just a little bit. And the front yard, minor setback problem as well. I also mentioned the coverage area. The whole area of the building, except for a very small portion of it, is already paved. So not actually increasing the impervious area very much. What we'll do is pull up an equal amount of impervious area where the pavement ends the east side of the property. Obviously, from December, Chris had submitted plans from years ago, which was actually a much larger structure.
yeah, I think the plans from last time, actually, there was confusion because it was a 3-bay setup rather than the 2 bays that were currently going with. So that would have made the sideline.
Yeah, it was quite a bit more intrusive. He scaled it back. I got back involved and redrew it, and that's the plan you have before you now. Anything, Chris?
I mean, like I said, we updated a bunch of stuff on there. Brought in as much as we could to try to It's just, it's a hard property to work with, I mean, regardless of the small piece, I mean, anything you do is gonna be, it's, you know.
Yeah, obviously the highway line was always, impacting the property. Then, they built the Haliac is kind of a frontage road, and they've reduced the frontage as well. So this natural property is reduced from what it once was, obviously, first by an estate. As a property, it's limited in what, in size, obviously, and shape. Also, topography in the back, we've got probably 14, 15 feet of hill behind the property. So it's difficult to work with. Trying to do the best we can.
Okay, so the variance that we're looking for, well, it looks like you've got inches. What do we have in the rear? What is the request in the rear? It would be inches, right?
It's a half a foot, yeah, we've got 24 and a half. That is a sideline, which is 25 feet for the lot now.
Yep.
So yeah,
So you'd be looking at inches there.
Yeah.
As far as the impermeable surface, it's kind of a wash.
that's what I'm saying, yeah, whatever we have outside of the existing pavement, we're gonna pull the pavement up on the end. So that we don't increase that.
And then the front line,
7 inches the front was.
the front line, we're still set back from the 50-foot setback, but we're not going into we're not changing the nonconformity
Right, we're not getting any closer.
So the nonconformity is staying exactly the same, but we're not adding any more to it.
Right, the existing building is 23.8 and the proposed is 24.8 at that emergent point, so we're a foot further from the road. This is 50-foot front yard, should say 25-foot front yard for the lot.
Questions, Steve?
Just for clarity on the permanent surface, so the requirement is total per square footage for the entire lot, so if you're moving some here or there, they're protected the request of their meeting.
That's kind of, I mean,
Yeah,
I would interpret that to be they would be exceeding, the square footage of the impermeable surface, but if they're removing, nothing's changing
Creating some over here.
versus that.
Taking away there.
Correct.
And if I remember correctly, with the fire department, things worked out for them in the same fashion when they had to clear an area and put up the structure when we did that one.
Yeah, so because that requires.
That's a good question. I don't know if it would, if the impermeable surface isn't changing, isn't becoming greater, does it require a variance from the existing?
From the existing, I wish Mike popped in on this, but no, with the existing impervious surface area from what I've worked with previous permits is no, they're doing a trade-off. So it's not gonna be a greater impervious surface, it's not gonna be less. They're gonna take away from one area and replace it with the other.
yeah, the first I saw was that
When I built
question was on the agenda when I printed it out tonight. I have 52% existing and proposed on my zoning chart, and I didn't label it as meeting the variance.
So no, with them removing from the end of the driveway to
Yeah.
take up for what they're taking, it would not change the impervious surface coverage. None of that, that would not
So
be.
we're not changing the non,
It's a
if there was a non-conformity
If there was a
going in,
non-conformity,
we're not changing.
not for when it comes to the impervious coverage.
Okay, just want to be clear what.
And
Yeah, if they were, if, you know, they weren't taking away as much as they were putting on, then yes, they would need some sort for that, but they're taking away as much as they're putting in.
And the same with the front line. Are they still requiring, because they're not changing the non-conformity of the building,
They're not changing the non-conformity of the building, no.
but do they need a variance because the building is taking a different position from the 50-foot setback in the front line, of the front line?
I would say yes, so that it can conform to the
The new
original.
building will conform.
Yes, so I would say
Okay.
yes, it still needs to be approved for the purpose of, it needs to line up with the original approval of being closer to the front yard. That way
Okay.
it's all in line, if further down the road they go to sell the building, it's not a confusion later on.
So in the sideline, you'd be looking for 6 inches of relief from the sideline variance. In the front line, you'd be looking for, I'm gonna say,
2/10 of a foot. So.
in the front line,
Based off the original non-conformity, yes.
up there.
Mhm.
But should, I guess my question is, for lack of, you know, we get the relief from the 50-foot setback line or from the original non-conformity?
I would give the relief from the original setback line so that it matches up with the non-conformity.
Okay, no, that's what I just wanted to.
That way
Just wanted
there's
to clear up.
clarification with it and it's not further down the road going through the same, well, why did they do this versus this? That way it all just comes in line
Oh,
together.
that's what That's kind of, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable with that. I just wanted to make sure that we were thinking of the same thing. Okay. Do we have anybody here to speak for or against?
Ruby Road, 163. I'm here for before.
Okay.
We have an established business, and I'd like to see it get bigger and better, because right now our tax base is pretty meager. Numbers coming in. And since I have a lot of customers in Willington, I get to see the poverty level pretty well. We have people paying me $20 a month for a septic pumping. By the time they're done paying for it, they need it again. So we definitely don't need any tax increases for lack of businesses. I'd love to see the guys on zoning actually create some plans to go and have more businesses come to town.
Businesses are good.
Well, you know, spread the fur. You know, that way there, it's not all on just the resident. Will's my vote.
There was him. Got a thumbs up on it? Okay.
Let it out.
Okay. Bill, any other questions?
No, I think everything is in order at this point.
Okay, I've got a pretty good idea on things. Do we have any questions on how would we going to proceed, and where I think we're pretty good with,
You seem pretty clear.
yeah, I think,
I usually leave the officials to Rick.
yeah.
Hey, Mark, I think you've got Ralph Tulis. He'd like to say something if you would.
Up there, Rob?
Can I go ahead and speak? Ralph Tulis, 47 Village Hill Road, also have property on Losi Road. I'm very familiar with this property since I grew up just a half a mile down the road. In total, I'm very uncomfortable about granting a variance on this proposal. The one thing I had mentioned in the last public hearing was it would be very, very helpful to superimpose this project over top of an aerial view of the property, because a lot of the pavement is on the town right of way. It may not be in the travel way, but it is nonetheless on town property. Is it appropriate for a business to utilize that area, that paved area, for their own use? Number one. Number two, is it fair to discount or not consider the amount of impervious surface that paved area on the town right of way contributes to surface water runoff? The reality is that as vehicles are towed into this facility, there will be less and less space to temporarily hold those vehicles until a proper disposition is resolved. I don't relish your job at trying to rationalize whether or not it's appropriate to grant the variance. The property is what it is. It was obvious when it was acquired. It has been that way thanks to the state of Connecticut DOT for decades. And yes, it's not necessarily a nonconformity that was created by the owners prior to today. It was forced by the Connecticut DOT. So it's a tough one to wrestle with. I really think that you need to consider the visual aspects of this property after the building is constructed, after the addition is constructed, and where the wrecks or whatever that are hauled in are going to be temporarily stored, because I suspect they may wind up being on town right away. I just wanted to add those comments. Like I said, I'm very uncomfortable with this. I don't want to give it I'm very supportive of business in town. But this one is a little bit touchy in my mind. So good luck figuring it out. And I hope you make the right decision. That's all I'm going to add, and I'm going to jump out for another meeting. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Ralph.
On the storage of wrecked or disabled vehicles, right now that's to the rear of the building. None of that will change by this addition. None of it's getting taken away from the storage lot size. So there's gonna be no overflow of vehicles. The storage lot's gonna be the same as it has been since the last 7 years I owned the property, worked with state police and everything. You know, we don't have wrecked vehicles and pieces or anything sitting around, you know, everything's locked, fenced in yard. So none of that is changing by this addition.
What is the height of the proposed building extension? Do you know, just roughly,
Off the top of my head, I think it's roughly,
a little more than what's there presently?
yeah, I think,
I would think to get the rigs in there.
yeah, the eve of the new building, I believe comes down and touches the peak of the existing building. So it peaks up,
Yeah.
7 feet.
Proportion.
Yeah,
And you got big garage bay doors.
Yeah.
Cover the whole thing. Yeah, I don't think that should, in any way affect the acceptability of it. Attached to the distances from setbacks and such.
Ralph mentioned it, how many vehicles can you have
in the rear.
on the property?
Well, I mean, the rear storage, I mean, it's not really set up as parking spaces at the moment. Usually probably 15 cars in the rear.
And you exceed that often?
No. The world of the insurance companies now, as soon as it's a wreck, before I get off my truck, they want to pay us very little. So they're moving them as fast as they can. I think, currently there's 5 back there. So I've never had I wish it would overflow sometimes, but I have never had to do that, so.
Okay. See, I can't see that far. See, hand up, who's that?
Yeah, that's Melissa Miller, Mark.
Melissa Miller?
She's gonna unmute.
Yes. Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I'm sorry I can't put my camera on right at the moment. I am at 55 Mahaliac Road in Willington. I'm right above. My sentiments, I kind of agree with Ralph Toulis, that, it is important to kind of look at what the business is and look at those possible.
Lost you?
street. You know, vehicles that are broken down, that are sitting in the middle of the road, you know, causing visual. So I'm just curious, you know, as to what their plan is for that. If they're, you know, if they're going to be building a building there, they're not going to have as much space to put vehicles that are not running, and you know what stops them from putting them in the road. That's just my concern, but like I said, I have Ralph Toulis sentiment that, you know, we definitely need businesses in this town. I'm definitely not against his business. I just want to make sure that it is a good fit if he's going to expand. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Based on that, can you show us either on this or that? I mean, you do have storage here. And to the right or the left, this is kind of the mouth of this garage.
Right.
Correct? And so you don't really store anything down
So there's,
to this section, or?
so this section, for this whole area here is able to be parking. I mean, it's a far enough setback there from the road. You know, we've utilized that from time to time just for our, like our service trucks.
As you're pulling things
Right.
out.
Yeah, as our own, you know, just as our own stuff. The other side there, you know, like I said, I've never had anything with vehicles being parked on the road, anything like that. I mean, we've had a couple issues with trucks from the truck stop parking further up on Mahaliac, you know, not to do with us, you know, but I have seen issues with that.
Is there any signage against that?
There is,
Yeah, but you have to be able to
read, yeah, exactly, yeah, sure. Troubles in my life here. Trying to talk to someone, you know,
Oh,
but
that's gotta be difficult.
I spend my days translator. You know,
But you hear what these comments are.
no,
as far as
I
appearance, you know?
definitely understand their concerns on it, you know.
I've been by, I've seen a camper there for, you know, when I
Yeah.
thought, oh gee, that was there last week or what have you, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we do get vehicles that'll sit there, you know, for on a part or something like that, or something like that, or, you know, we do have something else sit there for a week or something like that, but it's kind of a rarity. But it's never anything that impedes the roadway or anything like that. I mean, it's stuff that sits on our.
So I hear what they were saying as far as, you know, part of your property is
Yeah, I mean,
part on the town road, so you know, I don't know where liability falls there. You'd have to talk to somebody higher up the food chain in the town. But you know, just to be mindful of that and the liability involved.
no, absolutely. I mean, none of us or none of my guys want to be sitting there working on the side of the road.
No,
You know,
that's why you need a building.
right. You know, I spent 25 years working on the roadside on tractor trailers, and I've had my fair share of those.
Yeah.
Ooh, you know,
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of friends and other employees by doing it. So,
Right, on the video. No.
it's definitely one of those things, you know, we're always mindful of it, you know. It's, you know, if we have another day, something like this, you know, obviously trailers are gonna be dropping at the TA or at the Love Center or wherever they wanna be, you know, to really minimize, anytime we do something, we always try to minimize the amount of out there, you know, on vehicles or the amount of casualties we're taking in, whatever it is, you know.
The road, okay, I'm just going, this, what is the edge of the road line that you're showing on your map?
That's a picnic there.
That's the edge of the edge of the road. I think those.
The solid line or the dotted?
I think the dash line with the elevations.
Oh,
Well, this solid is,
That's a highway.
That's the highway line, but the road itself,
Road right there.
that's the side, that's the edge of the road. This is all, this, of course, this is all paved. The pavement that you were looking at swapping is definitely on the other side. That's within the
yeah,
front
property.
line, but it's on your property alone, so it's not coming out of the road setback. that portion?
Correct. It's on the front.
Okay, so that was one of Ralph's concerns, was that it was, what I gathered, it was gonna be involving this portion. It's only a small number of feet.
Right, and when the state's drainage engineers set up their drainage on the highway, all this was going into the pipe. I mean, this has been doing this for 50 years.
Now this, I mean, everybody, not everybody, but I pulled up here to have my emissions or vehicles worked on at that point, and I parked here. And these vehicles are still quite a ways off the edge of the road surface.
Yeah,
Yeah, if they pulled up to the concrete block, you've got 20 feet to the
20 feet, okay. And so this area here, if you utilize that for parking, you'd still be in on your lot side, and you wouldn't be bringing vehicles out into this area. And I think that's part of Ralph's concern, is that this section would be utilized for parking. This is your section.
Hey, Mark, just a comment if I could. A couple of thoughts here. Just the impervious section of the pavement or the new plan. The staff memo had indicated that you are looking for 21 feet an additional 21 feet of impervious area on the site is one comment. And then the second comment is, you're going to have to go to Planning and Zoning Commission to get a special permit. So issues of parking and lighting and height, we probably don't have to answer those questions here. Just have to give them the variance, because Planning and Zoning is going to address all of those issues at the special permit. And in addition to that, they'll have to go to inland wetlands to get a permit. So we're kind of the first stop. So, I think some of those questions we probably can't answer at Zoning Board of Appeals. We're going to have to wait for those to be answered at Planning and Zoning.
So Rick, your feeling would be for us to consider the variance on the square footage requested and not let it go as if it's coming off, correct?
Well, I'm just looking at the staff memo here. So, the request here is for 21 square feet. And I think we should grant that request in addition to the variance for the front line, because that new portion of the building is going to impose upon that front line. I'm not quite sure what that request is. If that's 10 feet or 15 feet for the front line variance. So we really need to address that. And as I understand it, the sideline variance is a foot.
Yeah, the sideline variance, it's a foot or under a foot. The front line variance, if we, well, under a foot, it's inches. The front line variance, we were, as we were discussing, Rick, it's like 25 feet off of the real front line for that variance, or the existing nonconformity would only be inches. And that's where the question came up about which one would be the correct one for us to go by, if we, to consider.
Right. So I would ask the applicant to be clear on exactly what the request is for the front line. Staff is there too. They should be able to assist us, with that front line variance request.
What we're asking for is for this building to be at 24.8.
So there is one more comment on here. No variance to lot frontage or lot width is required, as those are pre-existing non-conforming conditions that are not proposed to be changed.
Right, but the addition is a change. So the addition is going to impose upon that front line.
The 25.4 inch variance, 25 foot 4 inch.
For the front.
If we went with the front line.
Yes, because
Okay.
right now it's set at 24.8. So to get back up to that 50, you'd be looking at the 25.4.
Okay, so the request for the front line is 25, we'll give them 26, which we typically do is give them a little bit more room. 26-foot front line variance and a 1-foot sideline variance, and a 21 square foot variance for the impervious surface. I think that's the scope of what the request is.
And I kind of agree with, I do agree with you.
Despite the proposed offset as far as this year.
Yeah,
That way it covers.
that way it covers.
Blanket coverage on it.
There's no questions out. Well, do we have any more discussion or any more questions? We can move on to new business. Is there anything else you want to add? Do we have any questions? Well, nobody's still on the camera. You guys are good? Okay. Right now, we will close the, 8 o'clock, we'll close the public hearing. I'm gonna move on to new business, ZBA 24-3, 25 Bahia Road. Okay. Let's start with a motion. Do we have a motion to this? Somebody want to attempt that?
Sure, I'll make a motion. I move that we approve a 26-foot front line variance, a 1-foot sideline variance, and a variance, a 21 square foot impervious surface variance for that site as proposed on the site plan.
We have a second. I'll second that. Okay, do we have discussion?
My comment, just to follow up, I had struggled with the hardship issue here. But after giving it some thought and having staff look at the application a little bit more clearly, it's unquestionably a hardship. I mean, the DOT, has imposed this upon the site. He has no way out of this. He's been caught. He's stuck in a box. And unless we, in a regulatory framework, give him some relief, it's really going to impose a tremendous hardship upon him. He can't expand. He really can't do much of anything at this site. And I think the special permit is going to address, some of the drainage issues, the parking issues, the height of the building and the like. And inland wetlands will address any runoff on the site also. So this is only the first hurdle. He may get stopped at other junctions here, but I would advocate for relief for this business owner and give him a little bit of relief so he can build out as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I do agree, because if I recall correctly, this parcel went all the way to the other side of the highway back in the day. This was a very large parcel that got kind of chopped up pretty tight by the changing of the highway and the roads and everything coming through. Okay, I mean, if we have no more discussion. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no one?
Thank you.
You get to move forward.
Appreciate it.
Good luck in the next steps.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck.
Thank you, and thanks for the presentation and
See you
taking us out. Thanks to zoning.
I'm gonna take grab your other map.
Thank you. I'd just like to say off the record, I hope you appreciate Mike.
Mike's a good man.
I've been voting since '83 and just, it's very professional. I probably never coming back to Willington for another job in my life, so I'm just not letting go.
But in case you do, you're all set.
I'm sure he'll watch the video and see it.
Yes, he's very thorough and very,
Yeah,
easy to
very,
work
very, very good.
That's a good comment. Thank you.
yeah, no, we appreciate it. Okay,
Ivan,
Actually, pretty good.
there'll be maybe some more meetings.
approval of, you guys, if you're all set, you can go, you can stay and listen to us go through the last few details if you'd like. Okay. Approval of the minutes.
Such as they were. When's that, back to January, that was in December?
That was our December meeting.
I would move to approve it. We have a second.
All fair?
Aye.
Okay, correspondence, we have some document letters that we should enter, actually, we should enter into the minutes or into the meeting that we had. Public presentation. Don't see anybody. Staff reports, no. Guess we're at adjournment.
Wish to adjourn.
I would second that.
All in favor? Rick, thank you.
Aye. Thank you.
Great, we got to see Owen the other day. He stopped-
Yeah, he's doing great.
He is, looks good.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thanks for signing in.
Here's a second.